This is Factory. Welcome to Factory. I am grateful that I've had access to Factory for about a month now. Got access from the team to try it out, start using it, see how it works, and then bring it to you all and show you all how I'm using it. So I'm going to take you through a walkthrough of some of the core functionality of Factory. It's an AI coding agent that you can connect to a remote repo, to a local repo. You can run toolkits. You can be very specific about the context that you're selecting. And I think the key thing, the really impressive thing about it for me is the ability to really manage and engineer the context around your projects. I'll cover that at the end, save the best part for last, in my opinion. I want to walk you through how it works here. So what we have is the home page, the dashboard of Factory. You can see several different types of droids. These are basically like templates for doing different types of tasks in a dev role. You have your Knowledge Droid, which is for research or documentation. You have your Code Droid, which is for generating code, writing code. Reliability Droid for investigating incidents and root cause analysis. And then you have your Tutorial Droid, and that's for if you want to learn how to use Factory. We're going to go with the Code Droid. You also have a Product Droid, which is for product management. We're going to go with the Code Droid, and we'll select my repo meta agent. Let's take a look at task 9 and see what it entails. I have Claude Sonnet 4 selected here. We have several different models to choose from, including the new Claude 4 models. We have O3, some of the older Sonnet models, O4 Mini, and Gemini 2.5 Pro. With the reasoning models, you can select the reasoning effort level. So let's stick with Sonnet 4 for a minute and start the session. The first thing you notice is the context panel, which clearly shows what context Factory is pulling in as it works on your tasks or prompts. You can see here, because I included the meta agent remote repo, it's pulled that in. I asked about task number 9, so it's pulled that in. It'll actually show you the code here. For the repo level, it creates an overview with a code map of the directory structure into an overview. And then we can see what it's working on over here is looking at my task. So in this project, I have a set of different tasks. I'm just going through and asking the coding agent to work on these tasks, right? So we have our context here. We also got the user memory added in, and Factory pulled in some dynamic context. It pulled in files that were relevant based on what I asked. We have task number 9 here. Looks like it also pulled in a few other files, and then task 7, maybe because that was related to task number 9. We have some information about what this task entails. So another thing that you can do is, let's say that you have another repo that you want to pull in. I have this one here. This is Personal AI, basically sales chat SDK project that I'm working on customizing. So let's say for my current project, Meta Agent, I want to use Vercel's chat UI. as the user interface, the front end. Maybe I want to pull that in. I can add that in here. Because that's already been indexed by factory, I can also pull that into the project. And then I can have the personal AI repo here added to the context, and I can work on multiple repos at the same time. So you can imagine how you can do a lot with this. Going through, and maybe you have one project for the front end, one project for the back end, and you want to do things that tie both of those together. That's something that you can do with multi-repo. And then another thing that we have here that you'll see is toolkits. So we can search the web, we can connect to GitHub, you can search through the code, memory. So you can see here, what we don't have is the terminal turned on. And that's because we're not connected at the moment to my local machine using Factory Bridge. So Factory Bridge is like a proxy to your local machine. I have it downloaded here in the toolbar. And if I click on local machine, I can copy this code to connect. And then if I go to Factory Bridge, I enter my code, I should be able to connect. Okay, now we are connected to the local environment with Factory Bridge. So we're paired. I just noticed that you can also connect MCP servers. So that's pretty cool and something to definitely utilize. One thing that I've been doing is saving documentation in my notes, which I use Obsidian for. And there's a couple good Obsidian MCP servers. So what you could do is connect the Obsidian MCP server, and then you could automatically pull in documentation for your project if you're using a library, a framework, or SDK. But now that I have the local environment connected, what you'll see here is that the terminal is now selected, and we can run terminal commands. So let me take that away. What I do is, let's say, local repo. So I want to connect to my local repo here, which is meta agent. I will select that and add that in. Now I can say at meta agent, it's my local repo, activate the virtual environment. Factory agent will look for the virtual environment file in the repo, run several commands locally, and activate it. The virtual environment is now activated. Awesome. And now let's say run all the tests in meta agent using Pytest. So through Factory Bridge, because I'm connected to the local environment, we can run all the tests. It's going to run all the tests. It should take about a minute or so. This is a flow that I've been really getting into, where what I'll do is, I guess it's test-driven development. I'll ask for all the tests to be run, and then if there are any failing tests, I'll just ask the coding agent, hey, fix this test. So we had 9 failed tests here running in this environment. And the test run is showing some failures, but also many passes. Let me get a cleaner summary with just the final test results. So I'll run all the tests, and then if there are any failures, attempt to fix those failures. So That's my workflow for today. So that's factory, high level walkthrough, introduction. There's a lot more here. I know that the team is doing a lot of development, putting a lot out there. It's launching today, so you can go and sign up. Definitely recommend signing up, giving it a try. Let me know if you have any questions about it, any ways that I've been using it. This is a coding example, which makes sense. One of the things that I've also been thinking about using it for is documentation. In my job, a lot of times, a customer facing technical position, we get product questions from customers. If you had all your documentation loaded here into Factory, I think it would be a really good way to just take that question, just ask the agent in the chat and get a nice response for the customer that you can send over and be like, okay, based on your question, do we integrate with this? Is this supported? You could just send that back to them and connect it here. So a lot to try and pretty excited about the launch.